Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Time. This is the Movie of the Week segment. This week's Movie of the Week was, like I said last week, I'm gonna watch Whiplash. I didn't know what to expect from this film except for the fact that I was expecting good performances by the leads, which was Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. And I was expecting good things from them because J.K. Simmons won Best Supporting Actor for this film. I don't think Miles Teller was nominated for Best Actor, but I remember hearing a ton of great things about his performance in this film. So with that all being said, I went into this film with pretty high expectations. I was a little cautious about the fact that it was revolving around just this music setting of a drummer. I was worried about that. Like, how is that going to grab me? How is it going to, bring me in? In a certain way it did, in the sense that I was a drummer when I was younger in band. So I thought that, I was like, okay, well, at least I played drums when I was younger. I quit because I lost my sticks and I didn't want to tell my parents that I lost them. So I had to quit band. So I just stopped going all of a sudden, and that's how I lost my musical abilities. But no, really, this story, I was really surprised with the fact that it actually kept me into it the whole time. It doesn't really give you this wind up to the film. Once you get into the film, you're in the film. You're in this world, this world of studio bands and music school, and you're there for the ride. You want to see what's going on and learn how things are going, and doesn't worry about the stuff before. Whatever happened before, how we get to this point, you don't need to worry about that. So I like that. Throughout the film, they start to give you little bits and pieces of that. The director/writer of this film, Damien Chazelle, did a great job of this aspect. Did a good job of being able to give you a good knowledge of Miles Teller's background, of J.K. Simmons, of his character's background, of their background, of this whole world's background in like one sentence, without having to go to an epilogue or a dialogue of why things are this way and that way, with it being 5 minutes long and wasting your time. They did a good job. He did a good job of keeping it short, simple, sweet, and to the point. So that helped keep me involved in the film, so I kept my attention on it. Another thing they did very well was in the drumming sequences. Some of I don't know if they use CGI or anything like that, but it looks like it's Miles Teller actually doing it. It looks like Miles Teller's actually drumming. So I assume that he had to learn something of the sorts of this to do this movie, to be in this movie. But what he was able to do, it was pretty awesome. And whatever they did that seemed like it was upped in the difficulty. They didn't always show his hands and his face connecting, in the same scene. So they would show it from an upward view of him coming down on the drums, but from an upward view, so you can see that. They did a great job of being able to show you the different angles of when you're sitting on a kid or what is involved when you're playing. It wasn't to the point where it took me out when you couldn't see Miles Teller's face on whoever it was that was drumming. It kept me involved. The music, though, the difficulty of some of these sets that they're doing in the drums, and it was awesome just how crisp they sound, how good they sound, and when they want it to be a little off key, they're able to make it go off key. It's really interesting. It's really well done. I think this whole film did a good job of showing a couple things, and when you're watching the film, you don't want to jump to any conclusions because you see J.K. Simmons going off on everybody, and you see things happening because of this, and you find out things happen, but you don't want to jump to conclusions. You want to keep your mindset of the sense where you want to see this movie through before you make any harsh decisions on any of the characters and their person as a whole, why they are doing what they are doing. So with that being said, they did a good job of just mixing all that together, going with the characters, letting them grow, learning about them, and learning the two different story sides. The side that you can be like, man, this guy's over the top, he's too much, he deserves to be gone. Or you can see what he's trying to do in trying to push people to that point where they didn't think they could go any farther, but they did. They went farther. Those are two different sides to the story that I definitely see, and I had to wait the whole movie for it finally paid off, but it pays off, and I think that's great. There is a slight love story in this film, and I don't think they use it very well. The girl is Melissa Benoist from Glee. She's a very pretty young lady. She's wonderful in Glee. She's a great singer, but in this movie they underutilize her, it seems. Or it seems like they put this little love or wannabe love thing in there, and it wastes maybe a total of 10 minutes of our time, of the total movie. Maybe 10 minutes of it is this love story, but it was almost to the point where, why'd they put it in there anyway? nothing came about it. The only thing you see is that Miles Teller's character is so driven to be the best, the great, that he sabotages his own possible love because he assumes that this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and he doesn't allow himself to have that love. Even then, I didn't need that in the film because it wasn't worthwhile throughout this film. The parts where they're together and things like that. Like I said in the beginning of this review, this conversation, yeah, they slipped in sentences here and there where it kind of gives you a better sense of what's going on in his past and in the past of this whole world as a whole. But they could have done that in other ways, and you didn't need this little forced upon love interest in the film. At the end of the movie, the movie has kept me engaged this whole time, and I'm watching. I want Miles Teller's character to succeed. I want him to overcome the hardships, the difficulties that he's been faced with in this movie throughout this film. And I gotta say, the ending to this film, it's based on one thing, and they kind of mention it earlier in the film with Miles Teller's character and his father, and he asks him a question about the teacher early in the movie, and the crescendo, the highest point of this film is something you see happen but you don't see, and it's at the end of the film, and it's a beautiful, at least for me in my eyes, I thought it was a wonderful point to end the film, and I think it's amazing how they did it, how they just showed the perseverance, and it was great. I thought the way that this movie ended was a great way to end the movie. I came out happy. It doesn't have to be end all, be all, wrap it up with a nice bow. It is a little ambiguous to what happens after the movie ends, but the way it ends, I was happy. If I would have seen this in theater, I would have been walking out happy, like, man, that was awesome. So I'm really happy with this movie. I definitely liked it a lot. It's another film in the line of films that I've seen over the last few weeks that just really made my day, made my week. I definitely recommend you guys going to see this. This is another movie that you guys should do more than just rent on Redbox. It is something that's worth having, something for that multiple view. It's a really wonderful movie. I really liked it. You guys should watch it. Please go out there and watch this film, Whiplash. Alright guys, so that's it for Movie Time's Movie of the Week. Remember to click the like, share, subscribe buttons down below. Leave your comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section. Let's have a great conversation this week. We'll see you next time. Peace.